Week off for the common man, and actually a 6th day off. Common out for the next 6 days. So the Tennafitzgerald set sail day 1 of 6 days starting today in all week. In for Monday next week, then common will be back on Tuesday. I think for the vast majority of them, except for maybe one, Brett Blakemore will be with me as well. Hi, Brett.
Hi, Tenna.
A little doubleheader for you today, huh?
That's all right. A little double shift. That's fine.
When'd you find that out?
Like yesterday.
Oh, okay. So you had some time. You had a little bit of a heads up. It must be the worst though when you look at the calendar, you look at the schedule, and it says Tennafitzgerald and then Brett's name next to it. You're already feeling bad, and then you find out you got to come in another 3 hours, make it a double shift.
Yeah,
that's got to be the worst.
It's not that bad.
Good thing you're getting paid the big bucks. You're all right.
That's correct.
So we have 2 guests today. Will Regetz of Bring Me the News will join at 1:30 to talk about the Vikings quarterback controversy, which apparently got a lot more interesting after last night's at the night scrimmage. And then JGMB in the 2:00 hour, Justin Gard, producer of the Dan Barrero Show, will join in studio in the entire 2:00 hour for a little JGMB. Up until then, though, it's me and you, Brett. And on Mondays, I like to do, kind of figure out what happened with you and myself this weekend. As I usually say, when Max has been with me, my weekend is always very boring compared to his. I think you might be kind of on the same on par with me in terms of boringness. We'll begin with you, and we'll rotate. What did you do this weekend?
I went to Vikings training camp on Saturday.
Really?
I did. I brought the gal.
So not for work?
No.
Just for fun?
Well, my gal's diehard Vikings fan.
I was going to say, a Packers fan went there for fun.
Well, I didn't go for fun. I tried to instill fun into my gal who loves the purple. My mistake was the ticket, when you get it, it says noon. Like, okay, well, we got to get there by noon to see the practice.
Oh, you're way early, weren't you?
I get there, and I'd have to Google it because I'm like, what? Nothing's going on here. Practice starts at 2:30, and it's so hot. It's like 3M open levels of sweat and hot. And by the time finally we try to kill enough time of just going through the shops, obviously saying hi to the KFAN booth, by that point, she's already over it.
Oh, no.
And by the time they're like doing their stretches. And I'm like, well, I put this whole thing together for you to see your squad. And no, I did not wear any green. So yeah, we left maybe like 3 throws in to practice. We're like, we're getting out of here. So that's $30 I'll never get back.
Was she upset with you?
No.
Were you at the doghouse?
No, it was more of just, it was too hot. It was unfortunate. If we would have got there at 2:30 or 2, it would have been fine.
So you went there for 2 hours to look at grass?
Correct. That's exactly what happened. And we got some Vikings merch from the store, which we could have just done at any other store.
Overpriced merch, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep. So that's what I did.
Okay. For what I did this weekend, I made my maiden voyage to the Wisconsin Dells. I had never been there before. Did not go there as a child.
Which hotel were you at?
We're at the Wilderness. You're already sounding like someone who's gone to Wisconsin Dells a few times in your day.
Once or twice.
Okay.
So usually it's the Wolf
As a
Lodge.
child or as an adult?
As a child.
Okay.
So yeah, I remember the calamari. Is that still a thing?
I think
Kalahari?
It is. We weren't there.
Anyways, I remember that one.
Yeah, we just went.
Been a while.
We got there like late Friday afternoon, left, we got the extended checkout to 1:00 on Sunday and left. So we weren't there a long time. And so most of the stuff we did was just at Wilderness, it's like 4 indoor water parks, 4 outdoor water parks. There's not really a huge need, especially with the kids at the ages that mine are at 11, 9, and 6. Not a lot of need to really leave the premises. Like
That's okay.
Everything's there. Weather wasn't great. Sunday it was raining all morning, and Friday it was raining a little bit. So it's great to have the indoor aspect of that. But there's something about the indoor water parks compared to the outdoor water park. It just has a grosser feeling on the indoor water parks, right? Like there's nowhere for the water to go. There's nowhere for the moisture to go. It just feels mold-like. You can look outside the windows and you see like the outsides of these slides, and like these look like they've been patched together like 40 different times. Like I'm waiting for one of them to fall apart at some time. But no, I enjoyed myself. Maybe it was just kind of the perfect. The only thing we did off campus was we went to across the street is like this Sneaky Pete's restaurant, which is basically like a restaurant and a show. So you eat all you can eat barbecue basically, and then they put on like an hour and a half, 2 hour, basically like a musical type of show. And that was fine. That was great. Other than that, we went to Mr. Pancake for some breakfast.
Okay.
Samson really liked the Reese's Pieces pancakes.
Yeah.
Those are delicious. Then we went off campus for the Sunday breakfast. Other than that, like we just did water slides all day.
There's 4 water parks.
Kids were living the life.
Yeah, there's plenty. That's the best.
Yes.
Yeah, they have plenty to talk about.
What did you watch this weekend?
So I went to see Spider-Man a second time. My gal saw it for the first time, but I saw it for the second time.
Okay. Once again, you're doing more things for her.
Well,
you're not a bad catch, Brett.
I wanted to see it again.
Okay.
To be honest.
You didn't want to see it again.
No, I can watch the same. If I like a movie, I can watch it 100 times and maybe I still never grew out of that child stage where you rewatch the same show over and over again.
Sure.
I loved it. I think it's fantastic. It was a perfect follow-up to like the other one with all the other Spider-Man was just this massive thing, and this one's more of it's a hidden story. It was heartfelt. There was action. It was anything you could want from a summer movie. It's so good. Highly recommend.
Okay. What did I watch this weekend? I really didn't watch anything because we were at the Dells all weekend.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching television, wasn't going to movies. I did see about an inning or two of the Twins game Friday night. So I guess I'll put that in the what did you watch, because we were kind of eating dinner at like this sports bar-ish type place. So the Twins Brewers Friday night game. And the inning or two that I saw I saw the play where Royce Lewis couldn't handle a chopper to him at second base, and would have got out of the inning. Run scores, then the next batter gets a 2-run single. All of a sudden, it's down 4. It was a 4-1 or 4-0 at that time. Now the Twins came back and won that game that night. So I saw the Royce Lewis error, which I thought he was just playing first base. Why is he at second base now? We're just trying to he is the beer league hockey player that you're trying to hide somewhere. You just we're gonna throw you on the wing. Like they want to play defense, but no, we don't want you back at defense. We're trying to hide you. That's what we're trying to do with Royce Lewis in the field right now. But he's hitting the cover off the ball, so good for him offensively. And then I also saw the Kalen Culpepper home run Friday night, his first ever big league game. And the only reason that is meaningful to me and my family is because we went to a St. Paul Saints game where Samson's baseball team got to go out on the field, ahead of time. They went on and played wiffle ball. And then when they're announcing all the players and putting them out on the field for the national anthem, Samson got to be partnered with Kalen Culpepper. So from that point on, he's been like a Culpepper fan. And so on Friday, I go, "Hey, buddy, your favorite player just got called up to the big leagues. He can play his first game tonight." And then we were watching at the sports bar when Culpepper goes yard. 0-2 count. Like the first pitch, he looked like he had no clue on. He looked like Joe Boo from who's the guy who was with Joe Boo in Major League? Serrano. He looked like Serrano, couldn't hit a curveball. Yep. Pitcher decides to go high fastball, and he just turned on it and drilled in the left center. But that was cool to see my son, how excited he was that Culpepper got that home run. All right, we got about a minute or two left. Quickly, what annoyed you this weekend?
I've been sitting on this for a while, and it happened again.
Uh-oh.
I'm in a new place. I'm in Savage now. There's a small pool there and that you can go to. And this happens almost every time that I go. People will bring Bluetooth speakers and bump their own music
at the pool,
at a community pool. And that pisses me off to no end. Like, how selfish can you be that I'm so important that my music is going to blare out at all, and everyone else has to deal with my music that I'm dealing with. It's happened several times.
It makes a little more sense at like a pool area, because like golf course, I've never quite understood. Because this is supposed to be
I don't get that either.
Like we're supposed to be quiet and have etiquette when people are hitting the ball, and you've got the music blaring. The pool's at least a little bit more of a party vibe.
But it's a public pool. It's not your pool.
Yeah.
Why?
So you can't play music in public.
There was one group in particular that was getting wasted at this community pool, blaring their music, explicit music, and when I turn the other direction, there are 2 and 3-year-olds trying to jump into the pool as F this, bleep that.
That's a whole nother.
Do that.
That's another level. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's selfish, rude, And I
should not be
think you're scum.
doing swear words around kids.
No.
I agree with that aspect of it. And I think you should be allowed to have music at a pool, but there has to be a certain volume.
It shouldn't dominate the whole pool.
Yeah, you should have a little bit of a volume. If you just want it on your little section of the pool, then that's fine with me. What annoyed me, this might be just too much information.
Okay.
And I probably shouldn't be doing this at lunchtime at 12:12. I'm assuming every other human being goes through this. What is it about traveling that gets you backed up a little bit? I don't understand. What's the science behind this? We just made a 3-hour car ride. Like I didn't travel 12 time zones to a different continent. Why all of a sudden is backed up a little bit, and then it's the entire weekend. It doesn't go away, and you're on vacation, so you're eating crap. You're having more ice cream, more cookies, they have candy shops everywhere in the Dells. So you're just eating terrible food, and none of it's willing to come back out. What is the science behind this? I don't understand. Way too much information. I apologize to everyone eating. That was what we did, what we watched, what annoyed us this weekend. Up next, Peek at the Purple. Affordable Electric brings you Peek at the Purple. And we're going to talk about those quarterback performances that happened last night down in Egan.
Welcome aboard the Tennafitzgerald. In for Common on the Fan.
Stay plugged into everything KFAN, sports updates, ticket giveaways, show highlights, and more. You can follow KFAN 1003 on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, and YouTube. You can stay connected to the sports leader, The Fan.
10 to B and Double B in for the common man today. It's now time for Peek at the Purple. It's brought to you by Affordable Electric. Shockingly affordable. I was hoping to get some Vikings observations out of you from your trip to Vikings training camp, but you didn't stay long enough to give me any observations.
I would have. I like watching, even though it's not my squad, I like watching that stuff.
I did not see any of the Vikings night game last night in Egan, but I have read a bunch of observations. And obviously the quarterback situation is still the A topic and the B topic and the C topic and the D topic, all the way down to the J topic. And it's probably going to be here for a little bit of time because KOC even stated that he doesn't have a timeline at this moment. And we have a preseason game coming up on Saturday against the New York Giants. That's a noon start. But, late last week, it kind of seemed like Kyler Murray was starting to take over as winning the competition, if you want to determine off of what they're doing exactly, even though none of it's game-like situations. But, he seemed to be getting the better reviews. I think people were going, all right, well, for J.J. McCarthy to become the starting quarterback, like he can't just slightly win the competition. Like he's got to be very, very good. And so far we haven't heard anything regarding that from him. But over the weekend, sounds like Kyler Murray did not have a great weekend, including last night, 2 interceptions in practice. Sounds like he could have had a third one. And that J.J. McCarthy, especially early on, was pretty good last night. Now it sounds like as it went along, he started having some issues as well. But to start off, I think he was 9 for his first 10. I saw the toe tapper pass to Miles Price on the sideline. But all reports from the people that cover the team, that are there on an everyday basis, they said, hey, J.J. McCarthy outperformed Kyler Murray. I still go, what are we doing with this quarterback charade here? Given the year J.J. McCarthy had last year, given that the Vikings went out and signed Kyler Murray, to me, for J.J. McCarthy to win this competition, he was going to have to blow us all away. And reports as of August 10th is that has not happened. Now, there are certain days where he's better than Kyler, and there are certain days Kyler's been better than him. But to me, JJ was either going to have to blow us all away, or Kyler was going to have to just bleep the bed. And it doesn't sound like Kyler's done that. They've both been kind of in the same range. Kyler's getting a little bit more, it seems like, first team snaps. And, excluding last night, maybe J.J. McCarthy has closed the gap after last night. But up until this weekend, Kyler was thought to be playing just slightly, not great. Neither of them have been great. And the fact that neither of them have been great just leads me to believe, what are we doing here? If the Vikings thought J.J. McCarthy was still, like, for sure the quarterback of the future, one, who knows if they go out and get a Kyler Murray level type of player. And two, you're still not having a competition. You go, hey, JJ's our guy. We still believe in him as being the quarterback of our future. There's clearly doubts with that. So he's not winning the starting job. Obviously, something can happen here in the next week or two. There could be an injury. Kyler might just completely go off the rails. I don't see J.J. McCarthy going out and just absolutely stealing this thing. So why are we going through this? Kyler is learning a new system, a new coaching staff, new players. He's going to win the job. Why aren't we giving him as many reps as absolutely possible? Doesn't make sense to me. And I get it. It's August 10th. We still have a month to go. And basically, we're probably overreacting to I think a lot of the JJ folks are overreacting to last night's practice. All of that just pales in comparison to the joint practices they're going to have in a couple weeks anyways. But given Kyler's history, given he's coming to a new organization, brand new play caller that apparently is the most complex play caller in the history of the National Football League, just give him all the reps. Just name him the starter. Get this over with. Give him as many reps as possible. What do you say, Mr. Packer fan?
I agree. I think the sooner it gets done and the more you just give him reps with the ones. And I think part of it comes from, we don't know how much KOC was involved, or was it Kwesi, or was it ownership that liked McCarthy? And I'm sure KOC liked him at least a medium amount, if not pushing for him. So if you just make him the starter outright without making it a real competition, you're admitting without saying it, like, yeah, we whiffed here. We didn't make a good pick. So part of that to me is we don't want to admit that we whiffed on a top 10 pick. So we're going to, it's anyone's job, and he's right there with him, and Kyler's just...
I thought this whole time they were just trying to enhance his trade value, to be honest with you.
That could be too. I agree with you. I think you have to put, if it's going to be Kyler, which we all pretty much know that it is, you got to put him in the best position to succeed, and that would be giving him as many reps and tests and plays and just as much rhythm as you could possibly get him into week one.
Well, and up until this point, we haven't had like a deadline of any point, right? Like, we can just keep giving them multiple reps and share it and act like there's a competition. Saturday is kind of the first spot where you have to show your cards a little bit.
Yeah.
Not your Arizona cards, but just your cards. And I'm guessing as long as the quarterback competition is true and is still ongoing, I think most people will think, well, they're both going to play on Saturday. I think it's going to be the opposite. Unless they name a starter before then, which they should. I think neither of them will play Saturday. I think it'll be the Carson Wentz and it'll be the Max Brosmer show on Saturday. Because I've said this with Kama before.
I think that's a mistake. I think you're right, but I think that's a mistake.
I've said this with, that's why I'm saying you should name a starter, right? Like,
yeah.
Name Kyler Murray your starter, and then go give J.J. McCarthy some reps on Saturday to show what he can do and maybe show the league. But if it's still a competition, and it's a true competition, if you play both of them Saturday, now you're in this weird spot of, well, should we be playing our first team players with both of these guys? Do we play them with one of them? Are they each going to get a series or two? And now your starters, they're not going to put Christian Darrisaw out there. They're not going to put Justin Jefferson out there. Probably won't put Brian O'Neill out there. Aaron Jones isn't going to touch the field. Kyler KOC has shown in the past, he don't care about preseason games. He doesn't. The joint practices are what he cares about. So, as long as you have a competition ongoing, then either they both got to play Saturday or neither of them play. Otherwise, you've shown your cards. I don't see a scenario in which you can play both of them, especially what are you going to gain out of it if one of them's playing with, well, even the first teamers you're playing with aren't going to be your main guys. You're going to go stick out Kyler Murray in front of a second team offensive line, and then J.J. McCarthy's going to go out there with the third team offensive line. And then how are you going to evaluate that anyways? They're not all going to, then both of them can't play with all the starters. So you're really not gaining anything out of seeing them. So, unless someone's named a starter this week, which as of, if you trust what KOC said last night, that he doesn't have a timeline for it, I think neither of them play on Saturday. That's my prediction. And then I think before the joint practices the following week, a decision will be made. That's what I'm going with.
I think your prediction is correct, and that's what will happen. I don't think that's what should happen. I think you have to play at least one of them, if not both of them. If there's no, especially if there's no starter, but even if there is, I would consider playing Kyler for a series, maybe two. I think you got to get in a rhythm. Live bullets, man. I get joint practices.
Those live bullets mean nothing.
Yeah, but you're not going to get hit in those live practices.
You've been playing against the Giants second teamers.
Yeah,
they don't mean anything. That was it for Peek at the Purple. It's brought to you by Affordable Electric. Let's continue to talk football. Obligatory daily NFL headlines next, and we have audio of a Ron Johnson preposterous statement nominee. We get to that next.
Rock the boat, don't rock the boat. You're on board the Tennafitzgerald. On the
Your chance to score a Mall of America Summer Mystery Prize Pack is back. You can grab one at any of our KFAN events or anytime you see the street team out and about this summer. Then you can redeem it at Mall of America for discounts and exciting prizes. Check out upcoming events at KFAN.com. Keyword count.
Hey, got some text at the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. You can text 64686. This is Tenna B along with Double B. Paul says those quarterbacks need the reps. Acting like the preseason is beneath you is a huge fault of KOC. It led to a 4-8 record last season. I don't know if the lack of caring in the preseason led directly to the 4-8. Maybe the quarterback play might have led to that record. I would also say, they've had 2 years where they've won 13 and 14 games with the same approach in the preseason. So I'm not. This happens across the league for the vast majority of teams. Paul. He says that Tenna sounds like a KOC lick spittle. Was I defending KOC? I didn't even think I would give an opinion on KOC. I was kind of just saying this is what he's going to do. I'm predicting how KOC is going to approach it. I'm not really defending his. I went into the segment saying name a starter, which KOC's not doing. So I don't know how I was defending KOC. Did you think I was?
No,
you kind of give him
No, I think you're right. You're calling for a starter to be named, but you don't really have a problem with how he's going to do it in the preseason. And to be honest, I was thinking about this too, because I think it's just specifically when you've got a guy in the first year of an offense that I would want him to play in the preseason.
Yeah.
Like, if it was Sam Darnold and he was still here and he never left, and this is year 3, I'd say no chance. Don't even play him a snap. But I'd actually like to get rid of the whole preseason entirely and just get into the season as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, I mean, the idea of preseason games has changed so much over the years, and I think that people are still like in the olden days mindset as to what the worth of preseason games are. Because, right, like growing up, you would tune into preseason games and you would see, your starters would play the entire first quarter. And the third preseason game, your starters would play into the third quarter. And they were meaningful. And you got to get a glimpse of what your team was going to be. Clearly that mindset has changed. But I don't think sometimes I think there are fans that still look at that as the way it used to be is how it still is. And frankly, like, they didn't really have like those. Well, they did have joint practices back in the day, but they've there's a different view of them now. There's a different meaning to them. And I think why they like to put all their starters in the joint practices is because they can still protect their quarterback to a certain extent. And they can keep their quarterback healthy. And the guy's still going to be wearing a red jersey and the other team can't tackle him and take him down. So that's why they get their more starter reps during that time when you can protect those guys from injuries. Got another text that said, the longer we pretend to have 2 viable quarterbacks, we have 0 viable quarterbacks. That might exactly be true. And that's still time here, still a month, still preseason games, still joint practices, and things can change on a day-to-day basis, and all of a sudden this offense can start humming with Kyler Murray as the starting quarterback. But if you want to be concerned as a Viking fan, the fact that Kyler Murray hasn't pulled away from J.J. McCarthy, and especially a J.J. McCarthy that's not tearing it up, he's just throwing 5-10 yard out passes nonstop. That you could say that's a little bit concerned. There's still time for that to be changed, but that's why I would like to expedite that a little bit and give more reps to Kyler Murray. Before we move on to obligatory, you were with Nordo today, 9 to noon.
I was.
Ron Johnson, former Golden Gopher, great wide receiver. Maybe I just got nominated for preposterous statement, call him a great wide receiver. But no, he was a very darn good wide receiver, played a little bit in the pros. Vikings fan line co-host, Vikings pregame analyst for Fox 9. He uttered a nominee for preposterous statement, and you have the audio for it.
Because we have to remember, man, KLC has turned Josh Jobs into a superstar. Well,
hang on here.
He was a superstar for like 3 weeks.
For a game and a half.
For 2 weeks. Because we have to remember, man, KLC has turned Josh Jobs into a superstar.
I mean, that's pretty damning.
First, I have some complaints for Nordo here. I understand Nordo was trying to separate himself, distance himself from the preposterous statement, right? It's the old, Gorg saying hundreds and then Charge going hundreds? And then Gorg saying yes, hundreds. PA has been involved, kind of as a side version of like a Kevin Gorg preposterous statement. Nordo immediately wanted to get himself in there and be like, I'm not a part of this. But he went in so quickly he didn't give chance for Ron to dig his own grave even further, because Ron would have. That would have gone farther. Josh Dobbs not a superstar. Did he have his cup of coffee and his 15 seconds of 15 minutes of fame? Yeah. He had the very good game in Atlanta. Came back and played one good half against the New Orleans Saints here at US Bank Stadium. And then never heard from again until we'll find out in obligatory daily NFL headlines where he's at now, because he's got a new home. But Josh Dobbs, KOC making Josh Dobbs a superstar will definitely make the preposterous statement tournament.
Do you think that, I can give a little bit more context. I don't know if he goes on any further.
Go ahead.
Because we have to remember, man, KLC has turned Josh Jobs into a superstar.
Hang on here.
He was a superstar for like 3 weeks.
For a game and a half.
For 2 weeks.
And one of them, he just ran around with his head cut off in that Falcons game.
But, he was able to get him going a little bit. He's had some other quarterbacks come in, and he's...
He quickly went from superstar to, he got going for a little bit.
He got going for a game or two.
Let's hear more about Josh here in a little bit.
He's into the end zone for the touchdown.
Time now for obligatory daily NFL headlines.
Bet Online has released their odds for the first NFL coach fired. Do you have a prediction, Brett Blakemore? Who will be the first NFL coach fired? And they're a heavy favorite, by the way.
Is that right?
Yes.
I don't know. Whoever's out in New York with the Jets.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn. I think it's year 2 for him. I think last year he was a first-year head coach. They don't last very long. 2-1 odds. There's 32 NFL coaches, and he's getting 2-1 odds to be the first NFL coach fired. Todd Bowles of Tampa Bay at 11-2. Zach Taylor, Cincinnati, 7-1. Shane Steichen, Indianapolis, 15-2. Brian Schottenheimer in Dallas, 10-1. And then you got Dan Quinn and Nick Sirianni, Washington and Philadelphia, at 12-1. Mike Vrabel just took his team to the big game last year.
Yeah.
Mike got fired for off the field reasons, I guess. I still think it's hilarious that He tried to hide it for so long, and then like recently, didn't he like bring like a puppy to the press conference with him?
Yeah.
Come on, man, that's so corny. Vrabel 16-1. Up next, Kevin O'Connell of your Minnesota Vikings at 18-1. It's all NFC North, by the way, in this area. Dan Campbell 20-1 to Detroit, and Matt LaFleur Green Bay is at 22-1.
Wow.
McVay is dead last at 500-1 with the LA Rams, along with Mike McDonald of Seattle.
Where's Ben Johnson?
Ben Johnson. Well, it's only his second year, and they had a very good year. They won the division.
Did.
Ben Johnson is at 100-1. I can't give you the exact number. He looks like he's at about like the 22 mark.
He's pretty safe.
Yeah, he should be pretty safe. But how about our guy KOC and your guy Matt LaFleur? Not favorites. You know, they're not up in Aaron Glenn territory, but both in like that 10, 11, 12 range. I think that's interesting. KOC, I mean, it is the thing now with Kevin O'Connell that the GM is now gone. So one, you don't have the Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. He's not your fall guy anymore because he is gone. And two, you have a new GM that did not hire Kevin O'Connell, does not have a tie to KOC. Now, it's appeared during KOC's tenure here that the Wilfs are enamored with him and have let him have lots of control over the franchise. So would Sir Mark and Ziggy be willing to say, hey, Nolan Teasley, if you want to let him go, just go ahead and let him go? Or would they still stand behind their guy KOC? That's one thing with Teasley would still probably have to go through the Wilfs here if he didn't want KOC here. But despite everything they said about how aligned they are last week, you still never know what that relationship's like. And I think KOC has mostly been very favorable with the Vikings fan base. You know,
I'd say so.
Every once in a while you hear the old, his record's terrible in the playoffs. But I think for the most part, like KOC gets pretty positive reviews here. You have another year like you did last year, and you get poor quarterback play again, and you don't miss the playoffs. Not that I think he just automatically gets fired. The seat's going to start warming up at that stage for KOC. Your guy LaFleur, clearly they haven't had the playoff success there with him, but they've,
there's a lot of talk that he'd get fired this offseason.
He had like, he might still have the best record at a certain age or a certain amount of games through career. I mean, they've done pretty well in the regular season with him.
I believe he just signed an extension as well, so that after the season was over,
that stuff doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't. But after the season was over, there was a lot. Packers camp was divided of whether to get rid of him or to stick with it. I was personally in the stick with it just because I didn't really. There wasn't anyone that was jumping out to me of like, boy, we could get him. And I just like having the same offense, and having Jordan be in year 7 of running this offense. That's more appealing to me than learning a new one. But he has. The fact of the matter is they haven't done it in the playoffs. Through Jordan Love's time, they've been a 7 seed each year. They haven't won the division, or the last team the furthest team away from winning the division. The Vikings have won it more recently than us, I believe. Wow. I think that's the case off the top of my head.
Well, yeah. Well, no, we didn't win the 14th. Did we? We must have won the division the 13-4 year with Cousins.
I think so.
Yes, because we played the Giants in the first round of the playoffs. They had the 6th seed and we lost.
So they still make the playoffs, but they haven't won in the playoffs in a minute. And there's also the inconsistency. I mean, every year, like if we do the predict the Packers schedule, you have to account for 2 games that the Packers should absolutely win and have no business losing and completely blow it and not show up. Like last year, the Browns completely didn't show up. Panthers at home.
Well, the Vikings barely got by the Browns.
Well, they were really good.
Cleveland had a good defense. Like, they were able to, stay in games.
They had Joe Flacco as a quarterback, though. We had Micah chasing him. There's no reason we should have lost that game. I think the kicker missed, 4 kicks that game. And then Panthers at home. No reason you should lose that. And they lost. So
they ended up being a competent team. No, did they make the playoffs last year?
Did they sneak in?
They were in the mix. I think they did. They were competent.
We should be beating competent teams at home. Maybe that makes me egotistical.
Maybe it's just the arrogance of a Packer fan.
Yeah, they should not have lost that game. So there's reasons to criticize LaFleur, and I think he's rightfully where he is on that list. But I was always in the camp that let's run it back and see if we can make some improvements.
Well, the other part about this too is there's a lot of luck that is involved with some of these seasons, right? Sure. There's a huge health quotient to this. If Micah Parsons doesn't get hurt, you guys might be going to the Super Bowl. I mean, possible. The difference between Micah Parsons on the team and not on the team is like best defense in football to below average defense, right? He's that big of a difference maker. And that's, if I'm a Packers fan, that's what I'm concerned about going into this season, right? You're probably going to at least miss 6 games out of him. And who knows?
The number right now is coming back week 6 against the Cowboys. That's kind of the target date that we're looking at. I
don't know when your bye week is, but let's assume he's missing 5 games then. Yeah. It's almost a third of your schedule. And then even when you come back, is he like just ready to go into Micah Parsons, prime time form? Like sometimes it usually takes a couple weeks to get the strength built up and get some of the kinks out and get some of the rust out. I have a hard time believing like anytime before November you're going to have Defensive Player of the Year Micah Parsons out there, right? So that's a difference maker for you guys. And in a division that should be pretty competitive, like that can be the difference between winning your division and missing the playoffs, that stretch.
Absolutely. And especially with the cornerbacks are not very good. I mean, it's wide open at training camp as far like Keyshawn Nixon was playing with the backups yesterday because the rookies have come in and are trying to challenge him for that spot. So if you don't get a pass rush and you've got nothing going and you've got a new DC in Gannon, who I'm whelmed with that hire, and Jonathan Gannon, that's just fine.
You're just whelmed? I've never heard that.
I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not underwhelmed. I'm just, he's there. He's a coach that's been around. That's okay. If you can't cover receivers because your corners stink and you can't pressure, you're not going to have a fun time. So we'll see what happens.
Obligatory daily NFL headlines.
This is turning into like one of my favorite stories that I'd never really completely followed all the way through. Here's the headline from Mike Florio of ProFootballTalk.com. Kyle Shanahan says his Tesla was on autopilot before accident, which is very, there's something fishy going on in this story. This whole thing has just been bizarre. I'm just going to read it word for word. 4 weeks of the day after being involved in a car accident, 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan had a formal press conference for the first time during 2026 training camp. Previously, he'd met with reporters in his office and clarified that the accident, which happened while he was operating his Tesla, was his fault. On Saturday, speaking for nearly 20 minutes, Shanahan was asked if he's mad at himself for causing the accident. He said, quote, I mean, anytime you cause an accident that could be avoided, you'd feel pretty stupid. I mean, especially when you have a chance to hurt someone else. And so, like, I think you'd get mad when you get a ticket at yourself. So it was kind of the same, things that, I think everyone's done to a degree what I've done. But, dropping a phone and falling all the way to my back seat where I have to fully take my eyes off the road, it's something that I normally wouldn't do. I've had autopilot for 9 years, so I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Lucky.
And, who knows what happened when I turned around. Whether it malfunctioned or whether I knocked it off, that's something I don't know yet. But regardless, it's always your fault whether you're on autopilot or not. You can't take your eyes off the road. It's a partnership driving. You don't just turn it over to a computer, and it's a good lesson. No matter how comfortable I am with that I believe someday could save my life or someone else's, or it's really helped me have perspective on that stuff. What is going on with this story? First, the reporters didn't even mention this for the first couple weeks. We didn't even hear about the accident until a couple weeks after it happened. Then he takes all the blame for it, says it's his fault. Whether the phone story was true or not, he went with, I dropped my phone. And now he's coming up with some sort of autopilot, which that should have been if that's really what happened, that was the A topic back a month and a half ago, Kyle. The first thing you should have been said was I had my Tesla on autopilot. I don't know what happened. I might have hit something when I went to look for my phone. No one would have said a peep about blaming you. You don't even have to feel bad. It almost reeks of there's something legally I got to get out of here, and I'm going to go with the autopilot trick, and something screwy happened with the autopilot, but that should have been mentioned day one. And the story shouldn't have been hidden for a couple weeks because I would have come out with that right away. And then when you were first asked to talk to the reporters, that should have been, it's like you're changing your story as this is going along. This whole thing is very fishy.
To borrow a bit from Barrero, on the PELF scale, this is like a half PELF, maybe a little less than that. Because he's not really he is, but he's not. So like, I'm really sorry this happened. It's my autopilot, not me.
Well, if it was your autopilot, you shouldn't have to take blame for it. I mean, ultimately, it's your car. You purchased it, but that should be the Tesla's fault, unless you did something that changed the autopilot. Then it's your fault.
If you do, like, move the wheel suddenly, like enough to get it out of its little zone, the autopilot will shut off.
Okay, so you might have, but you should have mentioned that from the get-go.
Yeah, because like if someone, runs a red light and you swerve to get out of the way, then your autopilot will shut off and you'll take control again. So maybe you kicked the wheel but still, you can't do that.
Obligatory daily NFL headlines.
I'm just going to go through a bunch of NFC North. There are a lot of NFC North injury-related stories today. The Bears expect Luther Burden to miss about a month, though expecting him to be ready for week 1. That's actually good news. When you saw lower body injury, when you saw groin, you're starting to think worst-case scenario for Luther Burden. But the fact that he still may be able to be ready for the first regular season game on September 13th would be... I've heard a lot of good things about Luther out of training camp. He was a rookie last year, kind of had a meh first season behind DJ Moore and Rome Odunze there. But it wasn't that long ago. Well, I'm actually going to talk about Luther later in this week, so I don't want to reveal too much information on.
Are we doing your fantasy winners?
Well, yeah. Well, we're doing one today at 1:15. Yeah.
Oh, I have somewhere written down.
Oh, last year's?
I have last year's, I believe.
It probably didn't go very well, but if you can get that by 1:15, we'd love to hear those.
I only have 2 written down: a quarterback and a running back.
Obligatory daily NFL headlines.
The Lions put Teddy Bridgewater on the reserve retired list, so Teddy's hanging up the cleats, and the Lions will sign superstar Josh Dobbs to replace Teddy Bridgewater. So Josh Dobbs signing with the Detroit Lions now as the backup. He'll get a 1-year, $1.425 million deal to be the backup behind Jared Goff. But Teddy Bridgewater, unfortunate what happened with his career and with the really bad injury he had late in Vikings training camp. The Vikings ended up having to go get Sam Bradford. He was just never really the same. He actually retired a couple of years ago, did he not? And then came back and signed with Detroit just for their playoff.
School,
he was coaching high school football, came on for the playoff run. More news out of Detroit.
Obligatory daily NFL headlines.
Running back for the Lions, Isaiah Pacheco has an MCL sprain. They also believe he'll be ready for week 1, but given his injury history of recent years and how it slowed him down, got to be a little bit concerning. I kind of, as someone who plays a lot of fantasy football, kind of like Isaiah Pacheco later on as a late round dart thrower, because you can basically get him for end of your drafts or get him for free. And there's an outcome here where he takes on the David Montgomery role. So when you're looking at backup running backs around league, I know Isaiah's got a little bit of risk to him, but I also think there is some reward.
Obligatory daily NFL headlines.
And final NFC North related injury. Lions center Cade Mays is out for significant time with a wrist injury. They signed him in free agency, trying to upgrade that offensive line, which kind of let down Detroit last season. That was the mainstay for the Lions during that couple of years of strong runs there with Jared Goff and the great weapons and Ben Johnson running the offense. But the offensive line still being revamped there, and they have now an injury to their center. That was it for obligatory daily NFL headlines. As Brett mentioned, I will give you my Fantasy Football League winner at the quarterback position today at 1:15. Will Regetz will talk Vikings at 1:30. Then JG and B, the entire 2 o'clock hour, Justin Guard in studio. But up next, we're doing a little Big Bites, all the audio from around the weekend. That's next.